These are ogres spawning more ogres out of their ears, which, sort of makes me wonder what the hell Dr. Wily was thinking when he made these enemies. Yo, what's up? This is Chris. We're playing Mega Man The Legacy Collection, and known as Squy. This is just a little in-betweener because we've been having some trouble recording, having trouble getting together. Shit's been really busy. Hopefully you've been watching our podcast that's been going on for a couple of weeks now. If you haven't, go check that shit out. It's really fun. Anyway, I've been having a little bit of a downer recently. I've been having a lot of stuff to do, so I figured, why not just kick back, relax, and play one of my top favorite games of all time. It's a blast of the past. It's Mega Man 2. It's a game that I made Toby play and stream a lot. It is the game that I started out my previous Let's Play channel with. And basically, we're gonna do just blaster around, I think. Why should we do that? I don't know. Anyway, Mega Man 2 is pretty much the optimal platforming game for, ever. If you if you disagree with me, your opinion is invalid. You are the enemy to... Oh, thank God, I can actually control this with the D-pad. So, basically, Mega Man 2 is one of the very first games I ever really got on my own. Controls really... This is not optimized for the Xbox controller, that's for sure. Anyway, this was the first game I got on my own. Definitely one of the first titles I remember fondly. We had a local rental place that we used to rent a lot of games, but none of them were really, oh shit, I forgot these guys. Lose their shells and difficult. We used to loan games, what do you call it? Rent them? That's the word. We used to rent a bunch of games, but I never really, you got a game for a little while and then you had to hand it back, and most of them I never finished. We got Mega Man 1 a couple of times. Actually, I think I played Mega Man 1 after Mega Man 2. I'm not entirely sure. Or maybe it was Mega Man 1 that made me wish for this game. Whichever was first, took me... I don't know if I was the first one in my family to finish this, because I remember my mom and dad used to play the NES a lot. As a kid, I wasn't allowed to. They would have their friends over and they would play Zelda and Super Mario, and I wouldn't be allowed to touch the console while they were playing. So, good times, well, I mean, they were the ones who paid for it, so I can totally see why. But yeah, Mega Man 2 came out in, in 89? Definitely wasn't that old when I played it. I mean, I would have been 3 years old. I think I got it when I was about 6 or 7. But I mean, don't quote me on that. And every now and then I pick this title up and I play it. Usually emulated. Yeah, that's right. I emulate it because I own the actual cartridge. Although my NES is broken, long since broken. Kind of sad story that you had to throw it in the floor to actually get it to work. But anyway, I digress. I own the title and I own an NES, so I feel myself entitled to actually emulate the games that I own. But yeah, gotta say, this is the Steam version, the Legacy or whatever, Mega Man Legacy Collection. That's redundant. You could just call it Mega Man Legacy. Anyway, this is the Legacy Collection Edition Steam version, and I gotta say, not super hot on the controller. It feels a little bit less responsive than the original, but maybe that's just me being a whiny bitch. But yeah, I'm just gonna rush through the game here, and I'm gonna be talking to you guys about some stuff I've been up to. So, like I mentioned, we've been doing our podcast, which is very different from our Let's Play channel. It's just me and Toby inviting people over to talk about, the meta. Oh, well, at least they still got the freaking frame drop with the bosses. Just me and Toby talking with people about the meta of role-playing games. Mostly, character creation, stuff like that. And I gotta say, we've had one recording session. We did 4 episodes, and I gotta say, I'm very happy with how that came out. Shit! Well, I can definitely tell I'm playing it hard. It's been a little bit tough. We've been doing some games, but we're still having trouble getting as many views as we'd hope we'd get. I mean, we've been going on for well over 2 years now, and you'd hope that maybe we'd get more than, you know, 10 views per video at most. But, you know, shouldn't complain, should make better content is what I guess that's the conclusion. But yeah, we've been trying to branch out into different stuff, hence the podcast. And we've also been considering recording actual role-playing sessions, but that's pretty much still in the pipeline. It would be a kind of a logistic nightmare to have that arranged. Still gonna try to do it once or twice at least, so you guys can hear us play in real time. As exciting as that would be. Ooh, I killed Bubble Man. Moo, 5 minutes into the game. Whatever. Also, I've been kind of sick because it's pollen season, as you can probably hear from my voice. Not super healthy. I was gonna be... Oh shit. What? I was gonna be playing some more Torment, but I was looking at the views on those videos, and I figured, you know, what the fuck? Clearly, people aren't super into watching that, so, you know, might as well, I don't know. Why do I fucking care who I pick? I'm not even gonna be using any weapons. So, Crashman, here we go. I usually go with you last. I dropped it, you know. I'm gonna be playing Torment on my own. I really love the game. It's a great title. Super good. Super great heir to the Torment title. But, you know, probably not the kind of stuff people who go to our channel will be watching. And, let's be honest, listening to me drone on for an hour or reading dialogue, not super exciting. I've been trying to spice it up. As you can probably tell, I did a lot of audio modifications. Like, I changed my voice. I tried to, as much as possible, do different voices. But when it came to aliens and robots, stuff like that, I used Audacity to change stuff in there. Toby's got a Adobe account, and I've been using that for a little bit. Don't worry, we can share it, it's perfectly legit. Anyway, what else is there to say? This is a pretty good song. And if you've never played any Mega Man games ever, which you probably haven't, since judging from our viewer base, you're... well, actually, you probably might have, because our average viewer age is like 20-something. Although, to be honest, I think the stats are a little bit skewered by our own YouTube accounts occasionally logging into ours. I mean, watching our stuff. But yeah, I mean, if you haven't played Mega Man, this is definitely the kind of game you want to get into. The platforming is pretty nifty. Music is some of the best in the series, if not the best. Definitely got a bunch of memorable tunes. Very clever level design. The weapons are pretty neat. Like basic Mega Man staple, you kill a boss, you get your weapon. So yeah, I got Bubble Man's lead bubble here. Not like I'm gonna be using it. And yeah, well, I mean, it's Mega Man. If you know what Mega Man is, this is pretty much something with partial tongue. Oh god, I forgot that this guy just flies the fuck out when you shoot him. I'm playing on difficult. This is one of the few games that has a normal and difficult level. I think difficult was added in the American European version, or I could be completely wrong. Either way, I've always seen difficult being around, and it's a nice feature. It just makes the enemies a little bit more bullet spongy. Well, actually, no, it doesn't just do that. It actually, like you saw with the fucking cactus copying motherfucker over there, he actually split into different parts and then recreated himself. And they don't... Oh god, I forgot about this shit. They didn't do that on normal, so that's nifty. Okay, let's see. Well, the problem here I'm seeing right away is that I'm just gonna get freaking run over by these birds again and again and again while I'm climbing here. That's cool though, I picked up an extra life a little bit. Oh, this fucking asshole. Yeah, I just climb. Ah, son of a... Come on! This is stupid. Okay, well, let's try it the other way. No, I'm gonna die anyway, so... I should have gotten Leaf Man's thing, but then I wouldn't have been able to finish it with just using my Buster. There we go, dead. Why did I pick Buster Only Run? That's stupid. That's a really stupid thing to do. And why did... Oh. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I've never done a Buster only run. They're supposedly super fucking hard. I think I might have at one point or another growing up probably tried. Woo! Could have dodged that. But it's hard, and you don't really want to do it. The game doesn't reward you or anything. This is way back before you got achievements for doing bullshit like that. This is just gonna be something I want to do for the shit of it. I want to see how far I can get in half an hour, because honestly, this is kind of an in-between episode, unless you guys want to see me play more Mega Man titles. Because we're going to be recording more Final Fantasy VII soon, which, you know, it's got a little bit of views, not a lot, but more than enough for... Oh, yeah, that's nice. I climbed straight into the bird. I mean, even if we don't get any views for Final Fantasy VII, we all really like playing that game, so it's not gonna be any bother if we're, you know, not gonna be getting a lot of views for that. Speaking of getting a lot of views, like, we've been surprisingly getting way more views for our podcasts than for our Let's Plays, so I guess they're more entertaining, or they're just, you know, we do more advertisement for them, but, you know, I'd really like to hear some feedback on the podcast, because they're, like I said, they're a very different beast from what we're usually doing. We spent about 30 minutes talking to a friend, and I think the last 4 episodes we did were, we talked about character creation, we talked about rolling or not rolling dice during character creation and during the game. We talked about gender, sex, and representation, which I'm gonna be straight up honest with. I wasn't very happy with that episode. No shit on Louise, she did a great job. Super good guest. It was more like I think I just didn't really define the episode well enough, like what it was gonna be about. It felt... Okay, well... You know what, let's, fuck it, let's continue. Let's do this one more time. I'm gonna fucking beat that guy. Okay, so like I was saying, the second episode, gender, sex, and representation, could have been way more clearly defined, because I felt like a lot of times the conversation kind of went surface level. Like, I don't know if you guys listened to it. If not, you should have. Chris put in a link or something in the video. Basically, we talked about everything from playing the opposite gender to being a woman in LARPs and role-playing games to prostitution as a character being a prostitute. It was a mess, really. I mean, all these topics on their own are extremely relevant and very interesting to discuss. But when we were doing it, it just didn't. We just didn't spend enough time on each topic, and it felt like we weren't doing them justice. And we had like a little hitch in the beginning. We weren't really sure where to begin. Live and learn. It was our first recording session, and it was a pretty heavy topic. I mean, the previous recording we did was with Martin and rolling dice or not rolling dice. And, to be honest, that's a hell of a lot easier thing to talk about than talk about, sexism in games and stuff like that. And, I mean, believe me, there's a lot of rampant sexism in role-playing games. I'm not a huge Pathfinder or D&D fan in general. I mean, I play the games, I enjoy them. Not really big on the setting in general. Like, I'm not a huge fan of generic fantasy setting. Big surprise there. And I've never really, gotten into that kind of game. So I don't have much experience with Pathfinder besides reading a few books and playing a few campaigns. I GM'd it once in my own setting, so I mean that issue was not extremely relevant at the time. But anyway, if you look through the art, if you look through the books, I'm gonna actually grind for some health here. If you look through the books, you'll see that there's a lot of kind of dubious art, especially guys are the generic kind of rough, tough warrior or the sneaky rogue or anything in between. But most of the women characters, with exceptions, are kind of bland, kind of objectified, sexy. One of them has like a barbarian has a midriff for some reason. Like, she's pretty much covered in fur and shit. Her hips are pretty out there, but she has a midriff in her clothes, and it just feels weird. Like, okay, I mean, It's not your battle bikini like what you'd seen in Red Sonja or whatever, but it's definitely kind of weird, especially if you look at the warrior, which I mean is not a barbarian, so it's hard to compare the two. But I think it's still it's a big distinction that I put into the thumbnail for that episode. So episode 2 definitely something I'd like to talk more about and do more in-depth shit about. Episode 3 was about winning and losing in the game, and that had Luis and Andreas, and it was our first 4-man recording, or 4-person recording, sorry. And we learned a lot there too. Like, we had to take a step back and kind of evaluate, okay, so how much does each person get to talk? What are we going to be talking about? How well are we going to stay true to the topic at hand? Fuck off. And that was a big challenge, and anyone who knows me knows that I really, really love to talk, and I gotta admit, I take up a lot of space during everything. It's kind of my thing. I'm not proud of it. I try to contain myself, but I do feel like I always have a lot of opinions, stuff I want to say. It doesn't always come through. How does this AI work? I cannot make heads or tail of how he works. Anyway, like I was saying, I talk a lot, and I just like to think that I did more moderating during those 2 sessions, those 2 4-person sessions than I usually do. But it's still, we didn't really, it was hard getting the conversation off the ground. We drifted away, talked about other stuff for a bit, which is, fine. It's fun. You never know where the conversation's going to take you, but at points I felt like we really drifted far from the topic and started talking about the Assassin's Creed movie, which was, I wouldn't say even remotely close to the topic at hand. So, got a lot of... Oh, come on! I almost got him that time! So that was an experience too. I still think it's a good episode. I think all of our episodes were good, especially considering that was the first time every fucking time I fall for that. Every recording we did was with a new composition. A lot of the people there were not used to conversing in English. Me and Toby, we've been doing this Let's Play gig for like over 2 years now. So, we're used to filling up fuck you! No! I'm not going to goddamn die! No! Okay, so every time I shoot... No! Okay, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not gonna go Buster only. This is gonna take fucking forever. Okay, Bubbles, I got a heat, man. There we go. Oh, this fucking level. Anyway, 4th episode was about character creation in general. Like, what do you want to think about creating characters together in a team? And I gotta say, that was probably not the best episode we made so far. It was Andreas and Martin. Again, kudos to our guests. They did a really fucking good job. But again, I think that it was kind of loosely defined, a very, very broad topic. And the problem is that Andreas and Martin also didn't know each other. This was probably the first time they met. Yeah, it was. And it's kind of hard to know if you're gonna click off well with another person, and if you're gonna have a conversation about something like this, especially if you come from extremely different role-playing groups, like what kind of experience you have. It's hard to get a good a good natural conversation rolling. Still think they did a great job, but again, you learn a lot having podcasts. It's a very different beast from making a Let's Play. It took a lot more organizing. I'm very thankful for my employers who let us use the locale, which is very good, very well isolated, and no one came and bothered us. And wow, that was extremely badly pronounced. But yeah, it was an interesting experience. We're gonna be doing some recording very soon again, and not gonna spoil what we're gonna be talking about, but I do have some actual character creation plans in mind I would like to try. Only problem, well, fucking, only problem is, would have to, it probably takes a long time. You'd have to be very well prepared for it to be under 30 minutes. Again, it kind of depends on what game you're making the character for too, and how familiar you are with it. And another important thing to keep in mind is, oh god, this is taking a lot of my concentration. Another thing to remember. Oh, whew, yes, I did it. Fucking first try. That's insane. I haven't done that shit in weeks. I mean, years, probably. Not since I played this game the last time, which was this Captain Frog. And that was a hell of a long time ago. Die, you asshole. Okay, let's see if I can... but yeah, I mean, it would be pretty neat to actually do some character creation. Maybe do some Eon character creation, because Eon is a very unique Swedish game. I don't know if it's available in any other kind of language besides Swedish. It's a good system, and I would love to actually have a genuine character creation session, probably with Martin, because he's very fun. He's a fun GM to character create with, and you know, fuck you, man. There you go. This guy is a fucking joke, by the way, as far as bosses go. I mean, I guess Crashman probably is the same once you figured out his pattern, but I've never beaten Crashman without Airman's weapons, so I wouldn't know. And again, you saw how close I got. Fucking die. Alright. So, I don't want to do that. Headache. Again, there's quite a lot of bosses you can kill with your Buster Cannon, no problem. So, I don't really feel like using special weapons. Bubble Man is usually a lot easier. God, fucking select button. Can you skip this? You know, you'd think that if they make a legacy collection and they kind of revamp it for Steam, they would have added a fucking skip the weapon get menu thing. This is at least a minute of wasted time. So yeah, we might be doing some character creation. We're also going to be talking about. I think we're going to be focusing a lot on GMing this time. For one, we're going to be talking about improvising versus planning and railroading. I think railroading is definitely going to be a topic of discussion. Not sure who we'll be talking about railroading. I've got a lot to say about it, considering it's a very different phenomena if you're playing online or if you're playing offline. We're gonna be... I think we should try to talk about online role-playing in general. I feel like it's a very, very different experience from role-playing around a table. And, you know, we might even sneak in some board games in there too, if we have the time. We'll see. I mean, it's just... Oh, no, though. I thought they fixed the blinking of Mega Man here, but they did not. This is a straight-up emulation of the original game. So yeah, what you see here is basically there's too many sprites on the screen at the same time, so Mega Man is flickering. I don't know if he's flickering together with the life bar. I mean, the life bar is flickering, so I'm thinking that he's probably like every half frame, like every second frame, Mega Man is visible, and every second frame the life bar is visible. That's how I guess I would have gone at it, since neither of them are very relevant for the game. I mean, the life bar is just like a visual reminder. It's not a necessity, and you pretty much always know where Mega Man is because he's at the center of the screen, so not too bad if you can't fully see him. I don't know if that's going to show up in the recording, because this is this 30 frames the game? No, it's recording at 60. But anyway, might not show up in the recording. If it doesn't, that's good. Might also mean that he turns completely invisible if it's recording the wrong set of frames. But basically, what I think it's just a way for them to get rid of bullshit stuff going on the screen at the same time. Because if there's too many sprites, the NES couldn't handle it, so they had to figure out a way how to put as much action as possible into the game without ruining the flow. By the way, really love this stage. This used to be my favorite song. Now I kind of hate it. These days, Crash Man or Bubble Man's stage are actually my two favorite songs. Kind of fond of Woodman, I've always been, but this used to be my favorite. Now I can't fucking stand it. I think it's just because it's extremely repetitive. Very fast-paced, repetitive bullshit song. So, not a huge fan. We just finished Life is Strange, and it occurred to me that we might not have the time to record more Final Fantasy. I'm gonna try to see if the guys want to record more Final Fantasy. But we're still, I mean, we had a huge break around the end of the year. We were kind of reinventing our channel. We didn't do as much as we thought we would, mostly because of time constraints, and we didn't get a chance to meet a lot. A lot of shit happened, and you know, I'm gonna be completely honest. We're kind of stuck in a rut, I guess. It's very convenient how we're working. We're very comfortable with the amount of time and energy we invest into our show. And I think that's not actually a good thing. Like, I think we might need to push ourselves out of our comfort zone a little bit more. Mostly to challenge ourselves to be more funny, because a lot of times I'm making silly voices. The other guys are trying to speak, they can't because I'm talking. They make fun of me. I'm sad, pretend sad that they make fun of me. You know, it's just same old, same old. So we should really try to, I don't know, spice it up a bit, maybe do other stuff. This is partly why we're doing the podcast, because, I mean, it was my idea. Toby jumped on it pretty quickly. He's the guy who does all the magic, like the audio editing, cutting out long periods of silence, shit like that. That's all Toby. So you should send him some love. He's doing a lot of good work. He also edited all the Life is Strange episodes, by the way. I did the Torment and the Final Fantasy VII ones. Side note, it's really interesting to watch his editing compared to mine, because I do a lot more like pop culture references. I do a lot more like cutaways. I do audio editing, shit like that. Toby's more artistic in his editing, if that makes any sense. Like, I feel like he spends more time on it and makes it flow more smoothly. He's also into editing out unnecessary shit way more than I am. That's why most of my episodes aren't really cut as much. Like, I know it's actually been a recent trend I've noticed in a lot of YouTubers that, or actually, recent trend, well, it's not that recent. But, oh, this is a good song too, by the way. I was actually going to do that with Vampire. Like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I was going to do Vampire Bloodlines, because this is an old classic. I've been meaning to replay it for a long time, but I always get distracted. Anyway, I was going to cut out the whole intro. Well, you flipped me the one horn? Is that what you're doing? But you know, fuck that. This is a bug. That never happened in the original game. It never used to do just one. Anyway, welcome back to the episode. Like, they never used to do that in the original. It was always two horns going up, but apparently that's a new thing they've done. I don't know why that is. Like, it might be a bug. If they reprogrammed it. That was, on the one hand, it would feel kind of weird if they reprogrammed a perfectly functional game that's been emulated perfectly already for like at least 15 years. On the other hand, I mean, if they remastered it, they should have fucking fixed some bullshit in this game. I'm gonna be cheating here now. So, whenever Toby does editing, you can be sure that it's high quality shit. He doesn't do a lot of unnecessary stuff, and it shows. I mean, he takes his time. He's usually also way closer to the deadline than I am. I've been slacking off lately, which is not good. But I used to spend entire Saturdays just editing episodes. On the other hand, they were kind of rushed, not as long either. So there's that as well. You know, I'm gonna be grinding some life here. All right, there we go. Oh, come on. There. So, yeah, I mean, you go back and see if you can spot what episodes Toby edited. He actually did edit one of the Torment episodes. I asked him to, because I was gone for a hike with the scouts. Yeah, no big secret, I'm working for the scouts now. So we were out on a hike on a Tuesday. I came back, I was gonna edit the episode, but it was 30 minutes long. And one big problem with Torment was that I do a lot of smacking and breathing through my nose, and it's probably not as annoying as I imagine it to be, but it bothers the shit out of me. So I literally listen to the entire recording, and every time I take a breath or every time I smack my mouth, I would actually go in and try to edit that noise out. And that takes a shit fucking long time. especially if you got, I don't know, if you got ADD or whatever the fuck I've got, and you know, you just can't keep focused on one thing for more than 2 seconds. I've actually gotten a fretting cube, or a fret cube, or whatever the fuck they're called. It's like a dice-shaped toy that has a lot of really nifty functions on it, like a lot of different little buttons and stuff to turn and you know, buttons to press, lots of really cool shit. I got it just for $10. It's probably one of the best purchases I've ever made, because I'm engaged in a lot of shit where I have to talk in front of people, and it's been helping me a lot. So if you have tics, or if you fret a lot, which I guess is, you know, if you do a lot of motions with your hands, or you know, if you do shit that if you have trouble sitting still, basically, you should get a fret cube. Or you should ask, if you're at school, you should ask your teacher to order some. They're called fret cubes, I think. They're cheap. I think they should be available in Sweden. I got it in Sweden online, and it's super great, because you can get the kind of clicks and you can get the kind of doesn't click. Mine is a cheap version, so everything clicks in there. But there's a light switch that, if you are very careful, doesn't click, and that's my favorite. Like, I work over it with the thumb, and it's really useful. And I just realized we've been playing for 31 minutes. I'm gonna do one more boss, because I feel like it, and that's gonna be Crash Man, because I'm gonna end it on him. If you guys want to see me play this more, you should definitely let me know in the comments. Otherwise, there's gonna be more Final Fantasy 7 and whatever, you know. I would definitely love to do a series of me playing all the Mega Man games, because fuck yeah, Mega Man. I love Mega Man. But I know not a lot of people are into those kind of games anymore, and which is sad, you know. Classic 2D platformers are great. 3D platformers can be great too. I mean, Yooka-Laylee is just around the corner, and you better fucking believe we're gonna be playing that shit. I helped kickstart that motherfucker. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of Yooka-Laylee. And for the record, up until now, I've been editing this video to not have me do a bunch of breathing through my nose and shit like that that I mentioned before. So, however, the last 30 seconds I haven't been editing out. I hope I remember this when I actually do the editing. So you will be hearing me doing and stuff like that shit. It's fucking grating on the nerves, especially when you're aware of it. Everyone talks like this. I mean, it's not. I have blocked. I've semi-blocked sinuses, so it's more prominent on me, especially during spring season. I have some allergies. But it's really one of my biggest pet peeve, and I fucking hate it so much. And whenever I'm listening to a recording, I'm listening to some audiobooks right now. The guy reading from the book is actually really good at matching his breathing. But at certain times, you know, it just goes, and you go, ugh, shut the fuck up. Like, I can't stand it. It's so disgusting. But, you know, what you gonna do? It's a human thing. But now that I mention it, you're probably going to go back and listen to another one of our episodes. I recommend you go back to Torment, actually, and you listen to my recordings there, because I swear to God, I spent fucking... Ooh, nice. I spent hours going through that goddamn audio recording, especially with the 1-hour episodes, and just fucking cut in every goddamn episode. And let me tell you, I ain't cut, man, you know? Mega Man joke. Does anyone even know who Cutman is? Fuck you, bird. Okay, thought it was gonna come there. So yeah, I mean, go back, listen to our recordings, go listen to our podcast. I'd really love it if you guys did that, because we spent so much time and effort on setting that thing up. We're gonna be doing it for a while more. Please, God, tell me I got one of those things. Okay, one. Oh yeah, cool. So, and we're gonna be ending this episode in like a minute tops. I'm gonna be kicking that asshole's ass, I guess. Wow, one shot? It kills him with one hit? I forgot that. Okay, well that's good. Right, Crashman, you little shithead, you're gonna fucking go to... So yeah, every time I shoot, he actually jumps. So, and then 4 shots, he's dead. more. Anyway, thanks for watching. We love you guys. We don't say it often enough. Every fucking view in our video is just great. A special shout out to Joel. You've been sending us so many encouraging messages. We have not gotten back to you. You are our #1 fan. We love you, man. You are the best. We love seeing your comments. You mentioned recently that some other really famous YouTuber, Swedish, had mentioned us. She hadn't, unfortunately. Our name is Swede Fighters. Her show, she mentioned Street Fighters, which is actually kind of breaking our unmentioned rule here, but Street Fighters is what we're parodying our show's name off. You should look it up. Our logos are super similar. But anyway, yeah, thanks for watching. You guys are great. I managed to do 5. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good counting, Chris. 5 bosses in 35 minutes. I think I could probably finish this game in like an hour and a half. So if you guys want me to stream that sometime, then just hit me up. Send us a call on Twitter or Facebook or YouTube or whatever the fuck you're watching this. And until next time, you guys keep fighting. Love ya.